welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Miller. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today we are at day 12 for the plank challenge, and it's a doozy. So if you're on the 3-minute track, then you will be doing 70 seconds today. And if you're on the 5-minute track, hold on to your seats. You have 90 seconds. So we just skipped from 60 seconds to 90 seconds for the 5-minute track. So good luck to all of you on today's plank challenge. And we've got several topics today, so we got to dive right into it. I'll give you a little agenda of what I plan on talking about today. So I wanted to expand on something I mentioned yesterday regarding the individual that I spoke to from the Fighting Blindness Foundation. And I wanted to share a little bit about some resources that she gave me in case there are any other folks out there that are dealing with or need resources for blind and low vision. And then we are going to talk a little bit about some of the resources that she gave me regarding Voiceover and some plans I have, because I'm always up to something. And then I also wanted to provide a resource for folks with chronic pain. This is another course that I'm taking, so I will give you some information on that. I wanted to share my new interview that just got published in Authority magazine and talk a little bit, real briefly, about the book of the month to encourage you to read it because it was pretty awesome. I just finished it up. And then I have a little secret to tell you, so you have to stay tuned for the end of the episode. Okay, let's get started. So I spoke to the DC chapter president of Fighting Blindness Foundation, and she was so amazingly kind to spend some time talking to me and sharing a bunch of resources that she's been doing this for years. I believe that she may have started the Fighting Blindness Foundation. I feel like she told me that. So she provided me with these resources. Many of them I had already been using, but I wanted to share them anyway. Things that make life easier for folks that are blind, going blind, or have low vision. I explained to her my challenges, that I'm not blind, but I can see, depending on the exposure to stimuli, my vision gets worse. Like I have an inability to focus anymore. And so I can use my eyes. It just hurts to use my eyes. So she, without me saying anything, was talking about how, so she's losing her vision. So soon she will be blind. And she is moving over to using Voiceover. She just got a Mac, and she gets to learn how to use the Mac with Voiceover. So she hasn't done that yet. And what she said to me, which really resonated with me and gave me a boost of hope, actually, she said, I've been struggling with going back and forth, that I can't seem to commit fully to Voiceover. I keep thinking, it's just faster for me to just look at it. And man, yes, that's exactly what I struggle with. It's faster to just look at it, and you just put it aside. Well, the difference between her and I is that one day she won't have that option because she's going blind. So she really needs to start learning now, and depend upon voiceover. And I have the ability to use my eyes and be in pain. And that's what lately I've been doing. And I swear that's why I've been so miserable, emotionally, mentally, because I've been physically just feeling like crap. And just a lot. It's just a lot going on, and I just get a little out of sorts. And my boyfriend and I were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, this is what happened before. You just kind of go off the rails and start doing everything, and then you're miserable. So I really could relate to what she was saying. And since that conversation, I've decided to make a commitment to turn entirely over to voiceover. It's going to be, and this is what she said, her words, it's going to be hard to do, but I'm not going to let anything stand in the way between me doing the things that I want to do. So she was really inspiring to me, and there's no reason for me to continue to put myself through agony for the sake of going on digital devices. It's just not. So one of the resources that she gave me is something called iBug Today, IBUG Today. And this is iPhone blind users group. And they're on YouTube, Facebook, they have a website called iBug Today, and they provide one of the video, what do you call that here? Video playlist is specifically for doing an intro to Mac training. So already started. I listened to one of the episodes today, and it was an intro, and it sounds like the episode included other people introducing themselves, and there's all kinds of people that are in the class. It's a recording, but there are older people who have always been blind, people who are going blind, people who are used to using Windows and want to turn over to a Mac, people who have never used a Mac and are blind and are learning how to use it. So I feel like I'm very much at an advantage compared to a lot of these people that are taking the course. So I feel good about it, because not only am I very familiar with a Mac, I also have dipped and dabbled in voiceover by myself. So I'm familiar with some of these things like the rotor. I'm familiar with the VO command and some of the commands using your keyboard and your trackpad. So I feel like I'm at a head start. And again, this is just stuff that I learned by listening to voiceover, or listening to a YouTube video over and over and over again. And I just kept hitting pause, and I would try the thing that they said on the video, and then I'd keep going. And the reason why I was so inspired back then was I had realized, if you remember, if you're a lifetime listener, if you remember, I got to a point where I was just really frustrated and I couldn't figure it out. And then I realized this is no different than playing the piano. You're using your ears and you're using touch. And then once I realized that, I was like, yes. And I made a lot of progress once I realized that it's almost like playing an instrument. And then I stopped again. And it takes perseverance, like everything else. Like, how bad do I want it? And apparently I kind of felt my passion diminished a little bit, and I got back to I'll just use my eyes. My head's not feeling as bad as it used to, but what's happening is my head is starting to hurt again. So I'm just aggravating it, because it's like I keep trying to prove to myself that there will be a point where I can start using the devices again with my eyes. And the answer seems to be no, that I'm not going to be able to do that. No matter how hard I try, no matter how hard I wait, no matter how many naps I take, I still cannot do it. It's just something that my body just can't do anymore. So, I'm gonna commit here. And what I was thinking about before I started the episode, I was like, I wonder how sick people get of me saying, this is what I'm going to do now. This is what I'm going to do now. And then I'm like, no, I don't think so. I mean, this is the reality of what it's like in recovering from something like this. There are days that you are super inspired. There are days that that you're like, screw it, I'm not doing anything, and you're feeling like, boycotting everything. So it's reality, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share really what it's like to be dealing with what I'm dealing with. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the iBug courses. In addition to the courses, they've got something called Talk, and this is like a live session that you can call into every Monday evening, and people ask questions about just using voiceover or using, I think using voiceover, and you can just ask questions if you're hung up on something. It's like an hour forum, I guess, where you can just listen in if you want to. And then there's an Apple workshop. There's something called an iBug cafe, iBug buzz. There's also some insight into how to use Android. So I'm super excited about that. In addition to the YouTube, that's just on YouTube. Okay. If you go to the iBug Today website, there's all kinds of other resources on that website. She was telling me there's something called the Talking Book Program. So this is, I think, managed by the National Library of Congress. I think that's what she said. I apologize if I'm totally misspeaking. But this is something where they provide a handheld equipment that will work together with your phone, I think, to be able to listen to books. I haven't totally looked into that one. I usually rely on Audible, as you know. And she talked about using the Bezos device and also iPhone apps using dictation. We were talking about how to edit a document using VoiceOver. And this is something that I was able to do several months ago. I wrote a blog for my website. I edited the blog using VoiceOver. So I did it all without looking at my screen. Like, I had the screen curtain on, which means your screen is black, and I was on my Mac. I wrote the blog. I edited the blog. I uploaded the blog to my website and published it, all without looking. And I was super proud of myself. And then I must have been like, that's it. I accomplished what I came here to do, and I stopped. But that took me like 2 hours to edit that blog using VoiceOver, because it's really, you have to do some ridiculous type of you're like listening almost letter by letter in order to edit the blog. And it's just almost ridiculous. So she was saying that there's a course on the YouTube channel that talks about how to overlay um, how to overlay Siri with voiceover, and it makes it much easier to edit a document. So I'm going to try that too. And what another thing she talked about was that there is a disability phone line for Apple Care that is available 24/7. And I think that's important for folks to know who need that resource for blind and low vision, because it seems like, I mean, I didn't know about that. And I probably would have given them a call and at least got familiar with what the phone line is like. So there's that. She said, let's see what else. I think that's about, oh, another thing that she told me to do, which I did today, is to wear my earphones all day long, my AirPods, wear them all day long with my phone in my pocket, and turn voiceover on and just let it be. Don't touch your phone anymore. And then everything you do from that point on, you're not looking at the phone. Like, you don't have a choice. You're not looking at the phone. So I did it today, and I was successful up until late afternoon. Then I got a little antsy, and I took a couple pictures of some things because I made a pair of pajama pants today. That turned out perfect, by the way. And I took a picture of those. But so that's what I'm going to be doing with my phone. And so those are the resources that she provided to me. So let me just bounce back over to our agenda. And okay, so the next thing that I wanted to share is a resource for people who live with chronic pain. And this is something that my sister gave me the information for because she has a friend who knows a friend who who knows a friend who does this course. And now this is a little more on the religious side, mind you, so forewarning. But it's kind of like a bit of a Bible-esque study, I would say. So it's called Comfort for Dark Days, and it is a 7-day video-based course. And so far I've done the first one, and I found it really encouraging, actually, because it almost doesn't even matter, honestly, if you have this faith or not. It's listening to somebody else talking about going through the same thing that you're going through. That's what I need. And when I was talking to the woman yesterday about Fighting Blindness Foundation, and she was talking and I related so much to it, that's where my inspiration came from for today. And then a couple days ago, when I listened to the first course or the first class for this Comfort for Dark Days week-long course, again, it was a woman talking about living with chronic pain and how does she do that and what is it like? You know, what does she feel like on the inside? And one of the things that she talks about is how people who deal with chronic pain, often you can't see it. You can't see that that person is dealing with chronic pain. If you were to look at me, you wouldn't know that I'm in pain. Sometimes I might squint my eyes because I'll get a little sharp pain or something like that. But other than that, you can't tell that I feel like crap. Usually, because after a certain amount of time, I'm just kind of still smiling and laughing, even though I don't feel good. And some days are worse than others, of course. But I will put the information in the description of this episode for this course, this 7-day course called Comfort for Dark Days. Again, I've only done the first one, but it was encouraging, so I'm going to share it with other people. Okay, next topic. So I'm excited to say that I had another interview that was published on Authority magazine. And the topic is second chapters, how I reinvented myself in the second chapter of my life. And for me, so that's the topic of the article, and mine just so happens that I talk about reinventing myself in the second and third chapters of my life. So I'm going to add the information to the description of the episode where you can read this interview. It's really, if you don't mind me saying, I put a lot into it, a lot. It took me a long time to work on it. So hopefully I can get you to go out there and read it and like it, like click. I think there's a little button that says clap. And if you click that, it'll show a little clapping hand, and it'll be recorded on that page. So I'm excited about that. And not too long ago, I had another article interview that was published as well. And that one is on trackinghappiness.com. And that one is entitled My Journey to Get Back on My Feet After Alcoholism and an Ischemic Stroke. So if I remember, I'll put that in the episode description as well. Okay, shifting gears. I just finished the book, and I'm telling you, it's called Dry, a Memoir by Augustine Burroughs. And it's good. I think it's really good. And I don't want to sway you. All right, I already have. But I like it even more than January's book because it is a story. For me, it felt more like a story with characters. And I really enjoyed it. So there's more than half of the month left. If you want to pick up the book, it's available on Audible. You can listen to it while you're driving to work, while you're taking a walk outside in the cold. Again, Dry, a Memoir by Augustine Burroughs. And so that brings us to the secret that I have to tell you. What could it be? So tomorrow's Valentine's Day, right? And I have always hated Valentine's Day. And when I was in high school, I think I was a freshman. If I'm not mistaken, I was a freshman. And my first class in the morning was a chemistry class. And I sat behind this guy, and my best friend sat beside me. And we would come in and talk in the mornings. Well, the day before Valentine's Day, we were chit-chatting and laughing, and we were talking about how Valentine's Day was the next day. And I said, I hate Valentine's Day. I hate it. And the guy in front of me was like, why do you hate Valentine's Day? And I said, because it's like this day where you have expectations even though you don't want to have expectations. Not to mention, I have expectations and I don't even have a boyfriend. I never had a boyfriend. Did I ever have a boyfriend in high school? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, I did. But it's just, I don't know. You want when you're in high school and you're a girl, like you want to have this like dreamy boyfriend and everything. And it just never happened. And I just hated Valentine's Day. Anyway, the next day I came in on Valentine's Day into chemistry class and I walked into the room, and what was sitting on my desk when I walked in? A red rose. And so that boy that was sitting in front of me didn't want me to hate Valentine's Day. So he got me a rose and left it on my desk. And it was the sweetest thing ever. And I still know who that guy is. And I will always be grateful to him for changing at least that one Valentine's Day, for me. So that was a side story because I'm delaying the secret. Okay, here it is. I'm getting married tomorrow. That's right. I'm getting married tomorrow. So I will no longer be Rachel Miller. I'm going to be Rachel Abbasi. So we are getting married in my house. It's just the two of us and the officiant. And I am even going to be wearing jeans because that's what we're going to do. But I will have a really nice wedding. It looks like a wedding dress, only it's a shirt. So, anyway, yeah. So it's going to be at 5:30 tomorrow evening. And my father and my stepmother sent us flowers, and they're beautiful. I was going to get myself flowers, but I really didn't have a way to like search for flowers, especially since I'm starting to commit myself to voiceover and then go pick them up or get them delivered. I don't know. I just couldn't figure out how to do it to save my head, I should say. So they arrived at my door. So that was really awesome. And my whole first floor smells like flowers because it's like a huge arrangement. So I bought myself a ring because we bought ourselves our own rings. And I bought myself a ruby ring because I've always wanted a ruby ring. So it's a ruby with 2 diamonds, and it's super, super cute. And what else? So nobody's coming. And I will send out announcements. And the announcements are pretty cute, if I don't say so myself. It's well, I guess I shouldn't say what it says. I'm not going to tell you what the announcement says in case you get one. If you don't get one, sorry about your luck. I don't know what else to say. So that's happening. And beforehand, in the morning, I'm going to be talking to my psychiatrist. So, psychiatrist in the morning, wedding in the afternoon, and I'm going to get my nails dids in between. So that's what's happening. So tomorrow I get to introduce myself as your host, Rachel Abbasi. So that's kind of exciting. And then I'm going to be having a wedding celebration tea for my closest women in my life. And that's going to be in a couple weeks. So, and I'm going to send invites out for that. So there you have it. Big episode today. Lots to talk about. Lots of things to celebrate. I'm happy that I'm smiling today. I'm looking forward to what's next. That's how I feel today. And that's what happens. There are some days that I'm just, I'm not looking forward. I'm not looking back. I'm just being, and I'm just being icky. But I'm glad that I have days like this where I can be looking forward and being grateful for what is behind me and all that good stuff. So that's what I got. And thank you so much for joining me today. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you lovebirds out there. And haters gonna hate like I used to hate, but try not to hate Valentine's Day. If nothing else, go buy yourself some flowers. And smell them all day long. It's going to make you happier than you would be without the flowers, I think. So that's it. Thanks for joining. I'll talk to you tomorrow.